Today, we're diving into a shocking and emotional courtroom case. Yvonne Monica Perez stands trial, accused of causing the death of a child in her care. From the start, her emotional breakdown is on full display: tears, cries, and pleas fill the courtroom as the judge reviews the serious charges. The state requested a high bond, citing the severity of the crime, but it was denied, leaving Perez in protective custody. Perez faces charges for intentionally causing serious bodily injury by omission, carrying a potential sentence of 5 to 99 years, or even life in prison. She enters a plea of no contest, and a plea bargain is suggested, proposing an 18-year sentence. The prosecutor paints a disturbing picture. Perez took 2 children from the streets, one of whom tragically died after an incident involving a fall and delayed medical care. Evidence also points to prior abuse, including bruising caused by pinching. The case also raises serious questions about Child Protective Services, which was aware the child was with Perez but apparently failed to intervene. The judge expresses disbelief, asking why a vulnerable child would be left with a complete stranger, emphasizing the responsibility of adults to protect children. In the end, Judge Boyd sentences Perez to 18 years in prison with no contact with minors and a prohibition on working with vulnerable persons in the future. The courtroom is left with tension and outrage as questions remain about justice, accountability, and the role of child protection. Many viewers argue that the sentence feels far too light for taking an innocent life, sparking debate online about how society values children's lives compared to animals. This tragic case is a sobering reminder of the consequences of neglect and the importance of protecting our most vulnerable.
All right, everyone, please whisper.
A pretty horrific death of a child, and at this time they are allegations, but due to the serious nature, we feel that $200,000 is appropriate. But that if the court is willing to lower them, then obviously full conditions. But for something involving something like this, I feel like anything lower than 150 even would be just way too low. It also is a little concerning that no one's willing to help her, because then how is she going to be supported in the community? That's concerning to the state, Your Honor.
Well, just to clear it up, it's not no one. It's just people. Unfortunately, the people that are willing to help are just unable to do so financially. So.
All right. The court is going to deny the motion, and the court has had no evidence on what amount of bond that she is able to make. So at this time, the court will deny the motion. And counsel, if there's an issue, is your client in protective custody?
Yes, Your Honor, now.
All right. If there's an issue at the jail with her safety, just let the court know. But my understanding, she is in protective custody. Beyond that, that's all I can do. And counsel, I've always found them to be receptive if there's an issue with danger. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. 2022 CR 11873. State of Texas versus Yvonne Monica Perez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Allie Jackson.
Defense.
Matthew Allen.
Are you Miss Perez?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery that you revealed with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Did you understand you're charged with assault intentionally, knowingly of serious bodily injury by omission with the child? Did you understand that's the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Perez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her rights to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 18 years in the prison and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea? Is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
State Exhibit 1.
No objections.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. Is there a reason she's crying?
She's just upset.
All right, what are you upset about?
Just situation. I didn't expect this.
What's upsetting you about the situation?
Try to do something kind and just
It's just I don't know if the court has noticed, every time she's come in, she's been
Crying.
very emotional, Your Honor.
I apologize, Your Honor.
No, I'm just asking questions. All right, if we can go off the record. All right, state, are you asking to amend the stipulations?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objections.
All right, and then the court will review states exhibits 1 and attachments with the amended stipulations. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anyone want to say why you should follow this plea bargain agreement?
I can speak briefly on that, Your Honor. I think for the stipulations, so the way that she came about, Ms. Perez came about to have the child was kind of strange to begin with. She, in my opinion, I think saw these 2 children that were on the streets. Her and her partner tried to help take them in. And then obviously there was an incident that Ms. Perez describes a week prior to this where, again, she should have taken the girl in for medical treatment immediately. And then obviously she fell from the stairs.
Let's backtrack a little bit, because it says in the stipulations that there were 2 people outside of the store. She says she's being a good Samaritan. So she takes them both back to her apartment. And then she tells one of them, I can no longer keep you here. You need to leave. But I'll keep the complainant.
Yes, her and her partner. So her partner ended up, I believe, keeping the younger boy, and she kept the younger girl at the apartment. And
is this younger boy currently alive?
Yes,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
yes,
And where is he?
As CPS has removed him, he's with other family.
Okay.
the incident described that is the leads to this tragedy. Obviously, Yvonne describes it as she's playing. Obviously, the kid shouldn't be playing on the stairs. We know that. She hits her head and her back. She seems like she's okay as far as checking on her. She's eating, watching
So why would
TV.
she pinching her as a sign of as punishment? Because that's what it says in the steps, that she would pinch her.
Yes, sir.
Why?
It wasn't like I'm pitching her, just kind of like a grab, like just
It says it
to
left
prompt her.
bruises.
I'm sorry.
It said it left bruises.
I didn't realize it was gonna leave a bruise. I didn't intentionally do it to like leave that bruise. The little girl, when my daughter was, when
And so I think she's describing as, yes, she again is admitting to that. It doesn't matter whether you think it's going to leave a bruise or not leave a bruise. I think we would agree. And then as far as her actions, she seemed like she was okay. And then the next morning, obviously she's not, and then drops her off at the hospital. And then obviously does another bad thing, just leaves her and then leaves. She does come back. She does sit down with the police. She does talk to them, tell them everything that's going on and what happened. Obviously, at that point, it's too late. But I can speak to Ms. Perez from the day I've been with her for 20 months or so, from the day I've met her until today. Every time I talk to her, she's upset. And it's not because of so much of her situation, it's because of what happened. And she knows that she did wrong. She knows, she wishes she could go back in time and change all of that. And she says that every time I talk to her. And
Like
so,
maybe calling the police?
yes, going that far back, it's not one mistake. It's things that happen over and over. And again,
So was the child healthy when she received the child?
I don't, I,
Was the child healthy when you received the child?
The first one is Joel,
No, I'm talking
Oh.
about the child that is deceased.
I don't,
Was that child healthy when you received the child?
healthy in a sense, I mean, she was
Healthy in the
skinny,
sense that
she
she
was
had-
skinny,
Did
we
she have
fed
all her
her.
hair?
Did she have all her what? Her hair?
On her head?
Yes, Your Honor, I mean, only like patches, like not patches, but like her hair was thin. Her hair wasn't thick, it was thin. Her hair was thin. And she came when I picked her up when Cassandra told me to go and when we went to go pick her up, she had like a dirty little outfit. I bought her clothes. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that I should have done and I didn't do when she first arrived at our home. I should have taken her to get a welfare check. I should have done, and I didn't. I just was
well,
trying to-
and like Your Honor
help.
said, I mean, the initial thing would be to contact authorities to go through the proper channels. I think CPS was contacted prior to
They
this and made contact with Ms. Pettis, so they were aware of the situation, but again,
Aware of what situation?
that the girl was staying with Ms. Pettis. But
Was
again,
that before or after the child
before,
was taken to the hospital?
before, I believe.
So Child Protective Services was aware that somebody off the street gave her a child. And she picked up the phone and called Child Protective Services and said,
No,
I got
we-
this child?
No, Miss Pettis didn't. They contacted her. So again, I agree with the court. She should have done a lot of different things.
Well, I
and
mean, I'm just unpacking things a little
Yes.
bit. So,
The mother has extensive history with CPS and had different children taken away, so I think CPS was checking into the whereabouts of Ronnie and Howell.
all right.
It was that.
So that's how CPS found out that the child was in her care.
Yes.
And see,
This courtroom case is one of the most heartbreaking and shocking cases you will ever hear. Ivan Monica Perez stands before the judge accused of causing the death of a child who was entrusted to her care. From the very beginning, her emotions overwhelm the room. She cries openly, sobbing and pleading as the charges are read aloud, filling the courtroom with tension and disbelief. But behind her tears lies a disturbing story of neglect, missed responsibility, and tragic consequences that could have been avoided. The state requests a high bond, arguing that the severity of the crime demands it, suggesting amounts as high as $200,000. The court denies this request, stating there is no evidence that Perez could actually make bail. She is placed in protective custody, and the hearing continues with a sense of gravity that cannot be overstated. The charges against her are serious. She is accused of intentionally causing serious bodily injury to a child by omission, a charge that carries a potential prison sentence ranging from 5 years to life and fines of up to $10,000. These are not abstract numbers. They represent the life of a child, lost under circumstances that could have been prevented. As the proceedings unfold, Perez enters a plea of no contest, and a plea bargain is suggested that could lead to an 18-year prison sentence. Even with this plea, the details of the case are chilling. The prosecutor describes how Perez took 2 children from the streets, and one of them tragically died while in her care. The death followed an incident in which the child fell, yet did not receive immediate medical attention. There are accounts of previous abuse as well, including bruising caused by pinching, suggesting a pattern of harmful behavior that led to this fatal outcome. What makes this case even more troubling is the role of Child Protective Services. CPS was aware that the child was in Perez's care prior to the incident, yet seemingly failed to act. The judge openly questions why a child would be left with a complete stranger, and the room is left stunned by the implications. This raises serious concerns about oversight and accountability, and it sparks outrage among viewers who cannot understand how a system designed to protect vulnerable children could allow such a tragedy to occur. Throughout the hearing, Perez continues to cry, but many observers see her tears as self-pity rather than true remorse. The courtroom watches as she breaks down, yet the evidence against her is undeniable and horrifying. The prosecutor explains the fatal sequence of events in stark terms, highlighting how neglect and inaction directly led to the child's death. The judge listens carefully, and his words underscore the seriousness of the crime. He emphasizes the importance of seeking medical care for a sick or injured child, comparing the responsibility adults have for children to the care people often show animals, pointing out how society sometimes shows more concern for pets than for vulnerable children. When it comes to sentencing, Judge Boyd rules Perez guilty and imposes the 18-year prison sentence suggested in the plea bargain. The sentence includes strict conditions. She is prohibited from contacting minors and barred from any future employment involving children or vulnerable populations. The courtroom is tense as the weight of the decision sinks in. Many feel the sentence, while significant, is still too lenient for the loss of an innocent life. Viewers across social media express anger and disbelief, arguing that justice for the child requires far more severe consequences. The case continues to raise questions about societal responsibility and accountability. Why was a child left with a person who had a history of neglectful behavior? How could CPS, the agency tasked with protecting children, fail to act? These questions dominate discussions, leaving many viewers feeling outraged and helpless. The emotional impact of the case is magnified by Perez's own behavior. Her cries are public, but they are not seen as genuine remorse. Instead, they are interpreted as self-serving, as if the emotional display is meant to garner sympathy rather than confront the reality of what happened. The prosecutor's description of the events is stark and haunting. The child's injuries, the lack of immediate medical care, the prior abuse, it all paints a picture of a life that could have been saved with timely intervention. Each detail adds to the weight of Perez's responsibility, and each moment in the courtroom underscores the tragedy of neglect. The judge's comments are equally pointed, reminding everyone present that caring for a child is a serious responsibility, one that carries consequences when ignored. The sentence is handed down, but it does not end the conversation. Online, viewers debate whether 18 years is enough for taking a child's life. Many express frustration with the justice system, arguing that the child deserved protection, and the adult responsible deserved a punishment reflecting the gravity of the crime. Others focus on CPS, wondering how such agencies can be trusted when a tragedy like this occurs under their watch. The case becomes a lens through which broader societal failures are examined, prompting reflection on how children are valued and protected. This is a case that leaves a lasting impact, not only because of the crime itself but because of the human stories involved. The life lost, the tears of the defendant, the questions raised by the judge, and the outrage of the public all combine to create a story that is as tragic as it is important. It reminds viewers that neglect has consequences, that systems designed to protect the vulnerable can fail, and that responsibility is something that cannot be ignored. The emotional weight of the courtroom lingers long after the hearing ends. Ivan Monica Perez will serve her sentence, but the questions, the outrage, and the heartbreak remain. The child's life cannot be restored, and the court proceedings serve as a grim reminder of how crucial vigilance and care are when it comes to protecting the most vulnerable among us. Society is forced to confront uncomfortable truths: how children are cared for, how accountability is enforced, and how justice is defined when a tragedy of this magnitude occurs. The tears, the anger, the debates, they all become part of the story. This is a case that sparks outrage, demands attention, and forces reflection on what we as a society must do to ensure that no other child suffers a similar fate. It is a sobering reminder that protection, responsibility, and accountability are not optional, they are essential, and the cost of neglect is a price that can never truly be paid.